Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Eric Schupper. I am an attorney in Austin. I earned my law degree from Duke in 2000.
I'll give you a piece of advice. Normally, this is not public knowledge, so keep it just between me and you. We make attorneys go last.
Fair enough. I thought you were going to make a Carolina joke. But I went there, too.
Go ahead, Eric.
In 1997, I earned my master's degree from the Harvard School of Public Health, where I studied public health and environmental risk assessment and risk management, and was a graduate research assistant to the director of the Harvard Center for Risk Analysis. Before I was in school, I was a veteran of the 82nd Airborne Division, where I served from 1988 to 1991,
God bless you,
including tours in Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. I'm offering this testimony today in my personal capacity as a resident of Travis County concerned about what I believe is the public safety threat posed by the proposed legislation, HB 86, 750, 1167, and 1356, that would force Texas colleges and universities to permit students, faculty, and staff to carry firearms on campus. College campuses are complicated by high academic and social stress, presence of alcohol.
Hang on just a minute. All right. You want to testify on all four bills?
If I may. I only registered on 11.
You can't. You got to do them, fill one out for each one.
Okay. But I'll stick to testifying on 750.
Okay, so you wish to just testify on 750 at this time?
Sure.
Okay, all right, thanks. Let me just, if anybody wants to testify on all the bills, you have to fill out an affirmation for each bill, okay? All right.
May I do that after I testify, or? I've given him my written testimony.
Well, you got to do it before you testify.
Okay.
We can let you.
I'll talk about 750, and then I'll make a note with him.
You can fill out another witness affirmation against the bill and check the boxes. I wish not to testify. And
Got it.
Put that in the record.
Okay.
Okay.
That seems most effective. Time efficient.
Go ahead.
College campuses are complicated by high academic and social stress, the presence of alcohol and drugs, and young students who are away from home for the first time. From a risk management standpoint, it is not only illogical to suggest that enacting legislation that allows students, faculty, and staff to carry firearms on university campuses would serve in any way to deter people from carrying firearms on campus, but the premise that permitting firearms to be carried on campus would reduce the risk of intentional or accidental death or injury from firearms is fundamentally flawed and not supported by evidence. Permitting firearms to be carried on campus increases the likelihood that people will in fact carry firearms on campus. Increasing the number of individuals, particularly young students, carrying firearms on campuses throughout Texas increases the likelihood that some hormonal, stressed out, or pissed off 20-year-old will decide to use it against his or her cheating girlfriend or boyfriend, a roommate who snores too loudly, or a faculty member who gave him or her a bad grade that may affect the student's chance of getting accepted to graduate school, as Ms. Cummings testified to earlier. Moreover, it would increase the risk that in a scenario in which someone pulls a gun in a class or a sporting event or what have you, people who lack the training with firearms and who, unless they served in the military, have no idea what it is to train one's sights on another human or how to remain composed when looking at the wrong end of another's barrel, resort to vigilantism and end up killing or wounding not the perpetrator, but innocent bystanders. Furthermore, if an incident occurs on campus and people are carrying firearms, it increases the chances that someone other than the perpetrator may be shot by campus police. Such were the opinions of Virginia Tech campus police interviewed by the Virginia Tech review panel in the wake of the shootings that occurred there a couple years ago. Quoting from page 75 of the report of the Virginia Tech review panel, if numerous people had been rushing around with handguns outside Norris Hall on the morning of April 16th, the possibility of accidental or mistaken shooting would have increased significantly. The campus police said that the probability would have been high that anyone emerging from a classroom at Norris Hall holding a gun would have been shot. See page 75 of the Virginia Tech report. In my view, legislation that would allow firearms to be carried on campus is misguided and reflects a failure to analyze and appreciate the potential risks to public safety, the sanctity of the college learning environment, and to understand human psychology. When I was in the military, even trained soldiers did not carry weapons on base unless they were going to the firing range. Even then, ammunition was dispensed at the range under controlled conditions. Untrained civilian students, faculty, and staff should not be carrying firearms, concealed or openly, on Texas university campuses. It will increase the risk of accidental or intentional death and injury from firearms, and will almost certainly increase the incidence of such deaths and injuries, whether intentional or accidental. Campus police chiefs in Virginia, interviewed by the Virginia Tech Review Panel, concluded essentially the same thing. Having more guns on campus poses a risk of leading to a greater number of accidental and intentional shootings than it does in averting some of the relatively rare homicides. That's in page 75 of the report. Furthermore, as a lawyer, I've studied constitutional law, including Second Amendment jurisprudence. The Second Amendment reads, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." More than 200 years of United States Supreme Court jurisprudence interpreting the Constitution have made it clear that neither the rights conferred by the Second Amendment nor the rights guaranteed by other amendments, including the First Amendment rights of freedom of speech and assembly, are limitless and unfettered. Nearly all rights are limited by one bound or another, including sometimes by other constitutionally guaranteed rights. One may not run into a crowded movie theater and yell, "Fire," when there is no fire, for example. The interest in protecting public safety in that instance outweighs the individual's right to yell, "Fire." Similarly, in my view, it is not an unconstitutional abridgment of anyone's Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms to prohibit firearms from being carried openly or concealed on college campuses if it is determined that allowing firearms to be carried on college campuses poses too high a risk to public safety. I believe that permitting firearms to be carried on college and university campuses in Texas creates an unnecessary and unwarranted increase in risk to public safety. The Virginia Tech report recommended that guns be banned on campus grounds and in buildings. I respectfully request that members of the Texas legislature vote no on any legislation that would force Texas colleges and universities to allow firearms to be carried on campus by anyone other than trained law enforcement and campus security personnel. Keep firearms banned from the Texas college campuses.